Welcome to the video, ladies and gents. Anbraxas here. I'm bringing out another vaping video, and this one's going to be a product review. I'm sure a couple of you may have noticed on my last video, I was contacted by a company. They wanted me to do a product review, so that's what we're doing today. And I wanted to do this different than I did my other videos. My other videos, I was just talking about, what steps I've taken to get off cigarettes. I can finally say I am now, I'm 2 weeks, or not 2 weeks, 2 months cigarette free at this point. I've not had a single cigarette, so hurrah. I am off of cigarettes and I pretty much vape full time. So let's go ahead and get into this video. So what we're going to be doing here is I'm going to be talking to you through the webcam here, and then any close-ups that you see are going to be taken with my cell phone camera, for the simple fact that this webcam refuses to focus on anything. The coils for this device in particular look really interesting, and I want to make sure I got clear video for that. So we'll be taking video with a cell phone camera, but the audio will be here on the Blue Yeti. That way everything's nice and crisp and clear for you. So on the last video I uploaded where it showed my progression through different vaping devices, I was contacted by a company out of China called UWELL Technologies, or UWELL Technologies Incorporated. And after doing a little bit of digging on the internet, what I found out about the company was they've been the coil providers for a number of different devices out there. So I've already used some of their products without even knowing it before. And it seems like this is going to be their first actual product that they're making for themselves. As far as vaping related things go, they've made some different things, but this is going to be the first vaping product that they released. So they were kind enough to get in contact with me, and they wanted to send me a couple of sample units and some coils to try out. And when I decided I wanted to do this video, I wanted it to be my honest first impressions. So other than removing the bubble wrap and the protective tape on this unit, I haven't even opened it yet. I took the protective tape from around the coils, but essentially this is going to be my first impressions the entire way through. As I said before, any close-ups will be on a cell phone camera video. So this is the product that they sent me, the UWELL Crown Subtank. Now there's a few different Subtanks out there, and I've actually gotten a couple since the last video that I made. I upgraded to an iStick 50 watt, and I got a Kanger Subtank Mini. So I'm super interested to test this out because the last Subtank that I got only goes down to 0.5 ohms. And if you don't know a whole lot about electricity and Ohm's law, you may want to look that up before you try to put this on any of your devices. So this was made by UWELL, and essentially what we're going to do, since products tend to often be judged by what's on the back panel of the product, I'm going to go ahead and read you exactly what's on the back of it. Then we're going to open it up, and I'm going to give you my first impressions right off the bat. So, what does it say on the back? The UWELL Crown is a brand new generation of tank systems made of stainless steel and quartz glass. That's interesting, quartz glass. I'm interested to see what that does for flavors, simply because I've had an issue with the Pyrex tanks as far as cleaning them. They tend to just carry, not the flavor, but they carry the smell of the last liquid you've had in them for a while, and I've just had a hard. I'm just hoping the quartz glass is a little bit better as far as that's concerned. The Crown also uses UWELL exclusive technology, which enables the most pure taste of vapor in a much cleaner way. Moreover, the Crown applies airflow control mechanism, simply turning around bottom ring on Crown. The inhaling the amount of smoke and cooler and warmer vapor can be changed in this way. UWELL Crown distinguishes itself from all other clearizers on the market because it gives you the best vaping experience. And then on the back, it tells you, as you can see up front here, I've got two coils in it. It tells me that one is 0.25 ohms and the other is a 0.5. And it isn't going to focus on that. And then around the bottom, there's just this slipcover band. And here's something else kind of interesting about this. It says it's dual coil, and since it's in these replaceable coil heads, I have to assume they're vertical. So dual vertical coils. We'll be taking a look at that. But here's what it says across the back: food grade stainless steel heating wick, which I'm not entirely sure what that means. Here you go: food grade stainless steel heating wick. And then on the front, this really doesn't make a lot of sense. It's got 2 coils, and then it has an equal sign, and then I'm assuming it just means that it's 2 times stainless. But it says it's equal to a fork, a spoon, and a colander dish. So I would my first recommendation for them would be, as far as your branding, just don't put the 2 times coils and compare it to spoons and forks and stuff. Food grade stainless steel heating wick. Okay. So as far as that's concerned, I'm not entirely sure what's up there. So we take the front part off of it. It just says crown down here. As far as I know, this is just version 1. I don't think they have a second version. And what we have in here, looks like we have ourselves a quartz tank, or Pyrex, or let's see what this actually is. It sounds like Pyrex. You know what we're going to do? And later in this video, I'm going to do the exact same test where I drop a Pyrex versus this quartz glass tank. Alright, so it came with a tank here. An extra tank replacement. It comes with 2 coil heads here and the actual unit. So let's go ahead and pull out one of the coil heads. Take a quick look. You're going to get a better look when we go up close with this. But essentially, it looks like we've got a little rubber cap on the top. Let's go ahead and pull that off. And, oh, interesting. It's got nice big airflows on it, that's for sure. You see down there at the bottom? It's got huge airflow holes down there, which was a complaint I had with the Subtank Mini, actually. Is, you know, they got nice adjustable airflow, but then as far as the coils are concerned, they got these little airflow holes, and it's like you're never going to get above a certain size. But here's what I find really neat. So, of course, you've got your cutouts around the outside, but then here in the center, it's just a very deep, long coil. So I kind of half expected these to be like dual parallel verticals, but it looks like they're duals. All right, we'll take another look at that when we get to our close-up. Oops. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the unit itself. And again, we'll be going close-up. But just to give you my first impressions, my very first impressions is this has weight to it. It has texture. It has an actual metal texture to it. Like, well, I mean, of course it's stainless steel, but it, ooh, the airflow's got, okay. All right, so, ooh, wow. Okay. Let's go ahead and skip to the close-up so I can show you all the different parts of this particular tank. But my very first impressions as soon as I pick it up, oh, it's nice and heavy. It's got nice, it feels nice. It feels really nice in the hand and feels really sturdy. But let's go ahead and go up to a close-up and I'll talk a little bit more about it. And now for up close time. Unfortunately, the idea with the cell phone camera just wasn't working, so this is the wrap that came around it. Food grade stainless steel heating, and then if I just switch it to this side, dual coil stainless steel heating wick. And then here was what was on the front. 2 times coil heads equals spoons, forks, chopsticks, and colanders. UWELL technology. So, at least for the new Vapor, that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, I wanted to show you these coil heads because now that I've had a proper look at them, they are pretty cool. So, I'm going right up close here. Oops, turned it just a smidge too far. So, as you can see there, you got nice wide juice wells or juice holes, a way for your liquids to get inside. and start saturating the wick. Right there on the front, you've got a UWELL logo, dual, and this one's the 0.5 ohms. And you see the little ohm symbol there right on the side. Got a little O-ring at the bottom there to seal everything in. And I'm going to show you the actual coil itself on the inside, but I wanted to go ahead and show you the bottom. I just got to fix this O-ring here. So a problem I had between, for the example, the Kangertechs, let me go ahead and show you one of theirs. So a problem I have with like a Kangertech coil head, right, is when it comes to the airflow, you got this, you know, kind of like cutouts at the bottom, and they're not very big. And in all honesty, this is what we're used to, really. You got these little itty bitty holes, and they look huge while I'm showing you up here. But let me go ahead and put something else up for scale. That way you have a good idea what you're looking at. So this is a bottle cap versus, you know, a normal coil head. And look how tiny them airflow holes are. What I really like about this right off the bat is look how nice and big them airflow holes are at the bottom. Beautiful. As far as like machining quality, everything seems to be okay. Just again, for a size comparison, it's just about the size of a bottle cap as far as you know, length and height. So let me go ahead and pull out the second coil head for you here. I just wanted to show you the difference. This is dual coil, 0.25 ohms, kind of the same design. Nice big airflow holes down there at the bottom, which I have a feeling is going to make a huge difference as far as my opinion between like this and other Subtanks. Now here's what I really wanted to show you. Now I don't know how well you're going to catch this on the camera, but take a look at them coils there. Interesting, right? Now keeping in mind this is about as wide or as tall as a bottle cap is wide. It's about just as deep. It's about just as deep as far as the coil head's concerned. So, nice deep coil head. You're going to get plenty of juice in there. And as far as I can tell, it's a pretty basely coil, even at a 0.25 ohms. And we'll be putting that on a couple of different devices just to confirm that. Now, we're going to go ahead and take a look. Let me show you that quartz tank that I had out before. It's got a couple of fingerprint smudges on it. It's just your standard quartz tank really, or Pyrex tank. I really don't know what the difference between quartz glass and Pyrex is going to be. So we'll definitely be doing a follow-up video in the future so that I can get that point across what the difference actually was. Alright, so let's take a look at the device itself. Beautiful device. Nice wide bore tip there. You know, yeah, it tapers down just a bit towards the end, but it's nice and deep. I really like that. It's honestly just about the same size as the coil heads were. Let me go ahead and adjust our focus here just a smidge, so that maybe you can. We're going to adjust onto the device itself so you can see it better. Good. All right, so here's the device that we're dealing with. I went ahead and took the top off. I'm going to go ahead and pop that back in while we're talking about it. This is UWELL's Crown Subtank. It's kind of like your standard design. It's you know, it's got a little bit different thing. One thing that I'm just going to say right off the bat that I'm not a particular fan of is how much of the actual glass is just sitting there exposed. And my issue with that is I work outdoors and I tend to drop my tanks once in a while. And if it doesn't have the steel reinforcement on the inside, at least, I tend to break the glass pretty regularly. So let's go ahead and tear her down here. So as I showed you before, this is the drip tip on the top. It's nice and deep. It's got a good size on it. I couldn't actually give you the dimension for it, but it's a It's a good size. I think I'm going to get good airflow, but keep in mind, I haven't even vaped on this yet, and we're going to be covering all that in this one video. So here's a quick look at the top there, looking down into the tank. And the one nice thing about this already is this bad boy came with 3 coils in it. I got whatever's inside the tank here. I got a 0.5 and a 0.2 coil head. So let's go ahead and take it apart here. We're unscrewing the end. Just comes off. There's your coil head. Looks like your coil head. It'll screw right into the base. We'll get to that in just a second. Here's a look down into the tank. You got this 4-way kind of dealio going on. An O-ring there to stop your juice from leaking out. And alright, so the top's coming off, but it doesn't look like the centerpiece here is moving. So here's what we have as far as just the tank section. Basically, you've got the 4-post system, and you got a post running through the middle. We'll find out exactly how much liquid that it holds. And then this top actually just came off. There's the O-rings that stop your drip tip or your actual tip from going in. And then the threads. So, by the way, I haven't seen any machine oil at all on this thing. Absolutely nothing on it so far. So that's definitely going to be a bonus. Absolutely no oil so far. So here it's something interesting. So this section's complete in itself, and then we have the coil section, which is going to go inside, right? So that automatically tells me I can actually fill this from the top versus having to take it off and fill it from upside down. Huge bonus there. I get super tired of taking my tank all the way off of my device, flipping it over, and filling it up. So let's go ahead and see what kind of coil heads in here. As I said already, I have seen no machine oil whatsoever. There you go. You got yourself a pin that's going to connect to your 510 connection on the bottom. As far as your 510 connection, it does not appear to be spring loaded, so I would not use that with any kind of hybrid top cap. Or you can use it with a hybrid top cap, but you should not use it with any device that connects directly to a battery. Let me go ahead and show you one of those just so you know what you're looking at. Alright, and what I mean by not using one of these with a hybrid top cap is going to be a device, for an example, the Simple Mod, where you can actually see the top of your battery right there, and all you have is threads, and the tank connects directly to it. There's just not enough protrusion on this, for me, at least, for it to be safe. Use it at your own risk. It's your face. But it doesn't appear to be a spring-loaded connection. It would have seemed to me that it might be silver-plated. It seems to be a different color than the actual stainless steel. Everything on here seems to be a brushed stainless steel. You got UWELL Crown Technologies, their actual website there, uwell.cc. If you want to go check them out, any vendors out there who want to put your orders in. They go down as far as 25 units. And then as far as the coil head that came inside, it came with a 0.25 ohm coil head inside of the actual tank itself. So when you buy this unit, you get two 2.5 ohm coil heads and one 5.0 or 5 point and higher. So for an example, your eye sticks and stuff like that shouldn't have a problem firing these, but we're going to go ahead and test that out. And then as far as, for an example, like K-boxes and stuff, anything that won't fire below or won't even read 0.2 or whatever, you're not going to be able to use it on. But we got the eye stick 50 watt here. This is just what I use to gauge what ohms my stuff's at. It's been pretty reliable. If I have any actual questions, I'll just throw it on top of my MVP 20 watt. It'll tell me, oops, sorry, I flipped that upside down. So we're reading 0.3 ohms, but this thing isn't accurate to the second number. So If it's it says 0.25. If it's actually 0.26, it's going to round it right up to 3 instead of doing any of that. So as far as I'm concerned, this is definitely a 0.2 ohm or 0.25 ohm coil. Let's go ahead and take a look at the airflow here. The airflow on this, let's see if we can get into the center of the camera there. Airflow, can I find the front? All right. So you have the airflow, and it's got a little bit of resistance here as you spin, and it kind of, to me, it feels like there might be a ball bearing inside, because as I turn it around, let's see if you can hear it. It kind of catches when you actually get to like the open hole. So, for example, that seems like it's wide open, but let's go ahead and spin around here and see what other settings we have. So essentially we just have a single adjustable airflow, but it is on 2 sides. So you can just kind of turn it and close it off as much as you want, or open it up the whole way. And let's see, does it have a single side open mode? Would not appear so. So it looks like no matter what, you're always going to have at least 2 sides open. So that's the airflow mechanism. I really don't want to take it apart because I've had such terrible luck getting the airflows back together. So let's go ahead and take it back up out of the focused view. That way we can see what's going on. Fill her up in vapor. Alright, no, welcome back to normal view. Alright, so we have our tank section, our airflow section with coil build-in. Just in case you end up doing this, just so you know, this top part of the tank that has the O-rings going to be what screws onto your coil. That way it makes a seal and it doesn't leak. And as I said before, you can fill it from the top. Huge bonus for me. Huge bonus. I abhor having to take my tank off and flip it upside down and fill it. Then I got to find somewhere to put the drippy, sticky coil, and oh, it's just a mess. One thing I'd love to see is them to put in a rebuildable section, or at least make one purchasable. They're providing you with 3 coil heads, and that's great. I'm sure their coils are great. We're going to test them out here in a minute. But as far as I'm concerned, I still want to have the freedom to build. Looks like this thing has plenty of room to build inside these brackets. As you can see in there, the tank doesn't, or the coil that they send you doesn't take up a huge amount of space. They could definitely get away with offering a rebuildable section to buy, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this up, let it sit for a few minutes, and then we'll come back and vape it. Alright guys, now we got all nice and wicked up. This is how this bad boy looks when it's set up on an iStick 50 watt. Right now this is the only device that I have that can run the 0.25 ohm coil head. So we're starting with the lowest ohm that we can start with. Right now it's registering at a 0.3. I went ahead and tried it on my K-Box, which can read down to 0.4. It can't see it at all. So I know that this is at least reading it accurately at 3. It'll fire down to a 0.2. So I went ahead and took a couple of quick vapes just to give it a whirl, and holy crap, the flavor. I have a very specific juice that I use whenever I'm trying any new kind of coil head or anything like that. It's one that I sent off to have made. I know exactly what it tastes like. It's not the best. You know, I'm not gonna mess around with that and say that, oh, I have this special juice or whatever and it's really good. No, it's not the best, but I know exactly what it's supposed to taste like on a brand new device. Brand new coil head. I'll come back to it and finish up this video at the end of the day after I've used this all day to make sure that the flavor stays the same. the whole way through the day. But as far as flavor is concerned, holy crap. I guess the stainless steel coil wires do make a difference. These aren't Kanthal coil wires. This is stainless steel. And so far, making a big difference. I've never actually gotten this flavor to be so robust and to pop so hard off of Kanthal before. It's kind of insane. I'm a little bit... well, let's just say I'm impressed. I am impressed. So we're going to go ahead and do a couple of quick videos. And we're back. For whatever reason, my neighbors decided they were going to have a motorcycle revving competition with just themselves directly across from my driveway. So back to the topic on hand. We're running at 35 watts, 3.2 volts at 0.03 ohms. We're going to go ahead and do a couple of vapes. As usual, I've got a light that's coming down right here to highlight the vapor. We already talked about flavor. Flavor is super duper right now. It could be just because it's a new coil head, but I'm going to come back at the end of the night. I'm going to run a couple of tanks of juice through this. And I'll let you know if the flavor stays the same, but for right now, flavor is, woof, it's out there. I've never, about the freshest, it's almost like dabbing it. Just like take it, put it in your finger, and just right on your tongue. So let's go ahead, take a couple of vapes. Right now, we're 35 watts. We're going to take it from 35 to 40 to 50. Just to test it out. So here we go. One front, one side. Ooh. Some good vapor there. Oh man, super tasty too. So that's 35.3 watts. That was from the front. I've only got the airflow, and please camera, go ahead and focus on that, because I don't know if you will. I've only got the airflow open just a small fraction. Let me show you what happens when I open it the whole way. It's a little much for me, which is impressive. And I'm going to go ahead and chalk it up to these little coil heads having such huge airflow holes at the bottom, because right here I have a Kanger Subtank Mini, and even when this thing's open the whole way, let's go ahead and take a look how big that airflow is by comparison. So, by comparison, the Kanger Subtank Mini has a much larger airflow area, but I'm guessing it's all down to coil design, because I get a ton of airflow off of this, and it's just got a little itty bitty opening. Whew, wow. Flavor still kick butt. I mean, I ripped that through this device I mean, you could feel almost zero restriction, other than like, I mean, you just don't feel any restriction from this airflow, which I really like. But when it's wide open, it's just a little much for me, but maybe it won't be once we get up to 50 watts. But let's go ahead. I'm just going to adjust it back. And one nice thing about this airflow is it seems like they like, just have a quick listen. 1, 2, 3, 4. They've actually got stopping points. So, for example, the airflow is exactly where I left it. Just exactly where I left it. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We got to open just a smidge. I'm going to go ahead and do my front and side at 35 watts, front and side at 40, and front and side at 50. And at 50, I'm going to go ahead and crank it all the way open. So, whew. Not bad. Not bad. Just so you know what kind of distance this is, here's my hand. My arm is about 3 foot long, 3 or 4 foot long. Either way, this is about a 4 foot distance to the corner of my desk. It goes right past the camera here. Just so you're not fooled into thinking that I'm billowing out a redonkulous cloud. But the distance from the camera to back here at the bed, like right here at the edge, that's about 6 foot. So let's go ahead and do one from the side here. That's at 35 watts. Not too bad. Let's go ahead and clear some of this fog out. it is quite a bit foggy. And we're going to crank it up to 40 watts. Alright, so here we are at 40 watts, 3.4 volts, 0.3 ohms. And this time I think I'm going to crack the airflow halfway open. So we got our airflow halfway open. Let's take a vape. Ooh. Flavor's still kicking butt. Vapor's great. Flavor's just blowing it out of the water right now. I have to chalk it up. It's got to be the stainless steel coils, because I haven't gotten it to taste like this off of Canthal. I mean, yeah, it does taste like this off Canthal, but I mean, only for the first couple of hits. I'm still getting the exact same flavor, which is great. And I'm not trying to talk them up. This is my honest opinion. This is my first impressions. These are the first vapes that I'm getting off this, and so far, I'm liking it. Let's go ahead, 40 watts from the side. Not bad at all. Alright, and the piece de la resistance, we're cranking it up to 50 watts. 50 watts, opening that airflow all the way up. Let's go ahead and show you. Oh, well, no, you're not going to focus. Oh, yeah, we're at 50 watts, running at 3.8 volts. Wow. Whoa. Over. I wouldn't say that's exactly RDA quality, but I mean, we're not that far away at this point. I've got a Ghost RDA that I use as far as like flavor comparisons between like just raw flavor. Yeah, I'll do a comparison for that, but we're close. Dense, warm vapor. Oh, one more. Alright, I'm liking that. You know, for a sub-ohm tank and I don't have to worry about dripping on that, yep, I'm sold. I would still like to see it with a rebuildable section. That would be great. As far as temperature, I mean, we had a couple of vapes there, and it's lukewarm. It's slightly warmer than ambient air temperature, and we're at like, I'm going to say like 79 degrees today. Fahrenheit, that is. I don't know what that is in Celsius. But just slightly warmer. As far as my ice stick, I've got absolutely no heat coming through down here, which is great. One of the concerns I did have was going to be with heat, because I didn't see any like thick insulators or whatever. As far as like Subtank manufacturers and stuff are concerned, I would love for them to start, making their 510 connections just a little bit longer, and just putting like a really thin like Delrin insulator or whatever across the bottom, or maybe PEEK or whatever. Just something to separate it from the device itself, especially since we've had issues with devices like overheating, you're seeing on the news, exploding devices or whatever. It would just be an extra added layer of security, and it would just keep your device a little bit cooler. So far, I'm not having any problems with this, but we're going to come back at the end of the day today, and I will let you know if I run into any issues. But so far, I'm liking it. Flavor's great. Really enjoy the flavor. Vapor production's boop up there. Alright guys, so here we are about 18 hours later. Since, just a refresher for me, we're still reviewing the UWELL Subtank. Apologize for any background noise, can't control my roommates. I've had absolutely no problems with this tank all day. Flavor's been great all day, consistent. Everything's tasted exactly the way it was supposed to. I did find something out once I took the packaging apart further. There are a set of instructions that comes with this that explain the different parts of the atomizer, etc. You also get a complete set of each O-ring. I went ahead and checked everything. Everything checks out. There's an O-ring to replace every single bit of this tank if you need to rebuild the entire thing from the ground up. That being said, they're kind of specific O-rings, particularly when it comes to the inside of the tank. You're going to have a little bit of a hard time getting a hold of these, so I'd imagine after you rebuild it once or twice, you're going to need to get an entire another tank. I don't know what the price point is going to be here in the United States, because right now my shop isn't even carrying them. But as far as the flavor and the vapor production is still kicking. I've been rocking it at 50 watts wide open all day long. Great vapor production. I put not several, but a couple of different juices through here. I put a very sugary cotton candy, blackberry, blueberry, and right now there's a Turkish tobacco caramel mix in here. And it's handled the transition between the flavors really, really well. It hasn't taken very long at all for the flavors to completely wash out of the wicks and for the new flavor to take over. I haven't used any other coils all day. And since it's dark out, I'm not even going to put it on the video. But when I took this apart, the coil's still clean. Now, I do have a couple of concerns. I went ahead and did a little more research as far as using stainless steel wire as your heating element in your vaporizers. And with all things e-cig related, there's no definitive research to tell you like what's going on, what you can really expect with it. But there are some concerns, especially when it comes to stainless steel. And I'm going to end up sending this coil off to a metallurgist to be broken down, so I know exactly what base elements and components are inside this thing. What I want to know is what type of stainless steel it is. If it's 302 or higher, etc., I want to know that, so UWELL should definitely be putting that in their package, right? And I'm going to do an entirely separate video just for UWELL of recommendations for this tank. Other than that, my main concern is when it comes to stainless steel. Stainless steel happens to have a lot of chromium in it and magnesium. Magnesium, not such a big deal. In fact, in inhalation of stainless steel vapors, when it's being used as a welding wire, really doesn't have any detrimental long-term effects, at least not right up front. However, I do know that fumes off of steel welding wire, stainless steel, etc., can cause Parkinson's, or early onset Parkinson's later in your life, in your early 60s, etc. However, this is completely different. It does not get up to the melting point, which is where the metal vapors would be produced. Just like any other stainless steel, it takes quite a bit more heat to even begin to melt it. For an example, regular steel will melt at a lower temperature than stainless steel will. Like an oxyacetylene cutting torch, damn near impossible to cut through stainless steel sometimes, particularly if it's something like a bolt or whatever. And quite honestly, these devices just ain't going to put out that kind of power, particularly when it's got a much cooler liquid right next to it. So I don't have too many concerns about what kind of vapors and stuff are coming off this. But again, when it comes to vaping and whatever, people are a little bit weird about their materials. For an example, no one used nickel for a while because nickel does have some really bad side effects if you inhale nickel fumes, which is entirely possible. Nickel's not got that high of a melting point, but the main issue was it would get so hot it burned people's throats. Stainless steel gets pretty warm. It does get pretty warm. At 50 watts, if I hammer down on it for a few minutes, it'll get warm to the point where I can definitely notice it. I definitely think it's a little bit warmer than, say, a normal cigarette would have been. Now, it could be because I've stopped smoking for a couple of months. But for me, sometimes the vapor will get a little warm. All that stuff aside, and I'm going to make it a separate video just for UWELL for recommendations for them. I absolutely love this tank. This just replaced my Subtank Mini. My Kanger Subtank Mini is out the window. I'm going to need some more 0.5 coil heads if I want to use this with the K-Box or some of the other mods I have laying around. And I can't use this with my hybrid top simple mod. But for slapping on the iStick 50, definitely high value here. It looks pretty good. Looks pretty good sitting on the iStick 50. It'll look good on a lot of different devices. Holds plenty of liquid, at least for me. I thought that this thing being a dual coil, it was really going to drink up the liquids. It really doesn't do that bad. I'm pretty impressed. And like I said before, being able to fill it from the top, huge bonus. So I guess what it really comes down to is, like, what do I think this is worth? Since I can't really find a place that I can buy this readily other than online, if I went to a vape shop, I would pay as high as $45 for one of these. Particularly if I went out and broke this or whatever, I would pay $45 to get another one. If it was any more than that, I probably wouldn't. I don't think it's worth any more than that. And like I said, I have no idea what vape shops are going to try to charge for this thing. But if it's anywhere under the $45 or $40 range, you're goddamn right. If I broke these all day long, I'd go get more of them. So super happy with UWELL's Crown Subtank. You know, I know maybe my opinion would seem biased because they did send it to me to review, but honestly, if I had picked this up myself, I would have ended up making a video. Just like I'm going to be doing a video for the Subtank Mini, the K-Box, the iStick 50 watt, and a few other little things that I picked up along the way. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. So, worth a buy? Hell yeah. The UWELL Crown Subtank is definitely worth a buy. That'll be it for me, Anbraxas, and I will catch you guys in the next video.